When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
Tucker, you are not the father. This has to be wrong!
After Hours with Alex Stein. No filter.
If it was okay to have anal sex.
No apologies.
You were talking about things that probably you shouldn't talk about.
The undisputed king of trolling.
I finally had my own show!
At one point, your ancestors owned slaves.
They tried to cancel us.
Deplatforming works.
She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Politics, culture, hypocrisy.
They want them to have their penises cut off.
Uncensored and uncontrolled.
Cut your penis off, actually.
That's what I'm saying. They admit they want to cut people's penises off.
Late night just got dangerous. After Hours with your host, Alex Stein, starts right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to After Hours with Alex Stein right here on Real America's Voice. And we got a great episode for you this evening. We got to talk about Mom Donnie limiting his new discounted grocery stores to New York residents only by making them show an ID. We also got to talk about more drama in the WNBA regarding trans athletes. And we have a whole segment dedicated to your voicemails tonight, so we want to encourage you guys to participate by calling into the show. But before we get into that, we got to talk about the news that everybody's hearing about. There was a shooting at the famous In-N-Out burger chain in Twin Falls, Idaho, and sadly, 3 people lost their lives, 7 people were injured. And once again, there was a good guy with a gun that was able to subdue this shooter, but sadly, this is a reoccurring incident that is happening in America and all across the world for that matter. But it wasn't the gun that shot people. It was this crazy killer. So let's play this news clip describing the incident that happened this weekend.
At this time, we can confirm that the suspect, 24-year-old Chad Williams, is deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Investigators are continuing to review the incident timeline, process evidence, and conduct interviews. Detectives are working up on following leads and working with assisting agencies. At this time, we are still working to determine the full set of circumstances in this incident, including the suspect's actions and possible motivations. The Williams family has been notified, and they are fully cooperating with law enforcement. Their hearts are also broken during this time.
Now, this was a terrible tragedy, and of course, people are spouting their opinions all over social media. Some people are labeling him a conservative, which really doesn't make sense, because if you look at In-N-Out's history, it is an openly Christian company. So if he was a Christian conservative, I don't know why he would attack an In-N-Out burger. You think he would go after, like, I don't know, a Popeye's chicken or something. Not that that would be okay, but I'm just saying you think that he wouldn't go after the one fast food chain that is openly Christian. And then on top of that, allegedly his mom had shared some pro-conservative social media posts praising Marco Rubio, praising the Trump administration. But once again, I would argue that oftentimes parents and, their children disagree on political viewpoints. That's often the case when it comes to a lot of households. It's like a dad might grow up a Dallas Cowboys fan and the kid will be a Washington Redskins fan or a New York Giants fan, and they will pick that team's rival just to counter signal their parents. So just because his mom shared a conservative post, I wouldn't label Chad Williams, the In-N-Out shooter, as conservative. But once again, we don't know his motives. And sadly, 3 people are dead, 7 people are injured for basically no reason whatsoever other than the fact that Chad Williams is mentally ill. Now, some of his college peers were interviewed and they talked about his, demeanor, and some people described him as pretty chill. He was also involved in student government, but he was kicked off for procedural issues because he didn't show up to meetings. So he's obviously not that bright or not that dialed in and doesn't have his stuff together. But what is so sad about the situation is not the fact that 3 people are dead, but that, once again, we try to limit guns, but if there wasn't some other people that had guns, then he could have killed more people. So I would argue that if everybody had a gun, there would be less gun violence because people would be scared to whip out their gun because they know that the person that they would be potentially shooting would have a gun. So I think we need more guns. We need like a free gun program where people like go to school and they learn how to shoot it. And then you give them a gun. Everybody in America basically needs a gun at this point because things are so insane when it comes to illegal immigration, when it comes to random violence and, you know, certain demographical areas. I'm not going to say which color, black areas, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is a lot of gun violence is done black on black, white on white. This is in Idaho. Seemed like the majority of the people that he shot were white. Once again, crazy people are going to act crazy. It wasn't the gun that fired itself. It was Chad Williams that pulled the trigger. And we still don't know the motives. Now, let's play this clip from NBC News describing what happened.
Is he a hero?
Yeah, I would say he definitely distracted the shooter from shooting more people. The shooter was solely focused on him, and it allowed us to get out. I mean, the car directly ahead of me was getting shot.
Police crediting that man and an off-duty state trooper who also returned fire with helping save lives.
See? This is what we need. We need more people strapped to protect the people that aren't strapped. And sadly, it just looks like this is a bad situation, and this Chad Williams guy, I shouldn't even be saying his name because that's probably why he did this. He's such a loser. He's so pathetic. He has very few friends, not a big social circle, and he's going to go down in history as one of the biggest losers in Idaho's, you know, I guess state register or whatever, in a criminal history. I mean, he didn't get to go to court. He didn't get arrested. Luckily, he died at the incident, which was good, but nothing is ever happy or positive when a random shooter starts shooting people at In-N-Out. And I don't know if it was because they got his order wrong. He's like, I want my fries animal style. They didn't put enough sauce on it. I'm not even trying to be funny. I just don't know what his motives are. I just don't understand the motivation to go to In-N-Out. I understand that it's a popular restaurant, and so there's going to be a likelihood of a lot of people there. So maybe that's why he did it. He's in Idaho, Twin Falls. Maybe, you know, there's not a ton of people congregated at certain areas, but it's like, I just don't understand the motivation when somebody goes to a grocery store or just randomly starts shooting people that didn't actually provoke them. I mean, once again, shooting is always bad, but in a self-defense manner, like the two heroes, the off-duty sheriff and Jordan Salinas, I believe is his name, for being brave enough to whip out their guns and distract the shooter so other victims were not victimized by Chad Williams. Now let's play this clip of Twin Falls law enforcement trooper talking about the citizens with the guns being good citizens.
In closing, I want to extend my deepest thanks to the off-duty trooper and the good citizen that engaged the shooter. These people are true heroes in our community, and their actions diverted the shooter and no doubt saved many lives.
I mean, that's what we've been saying the whole time. So we need more guns. We need to be protected. I know everybody at RAV is very pro Second Amendment, and that's why we need to put in conservative politicians, because they more than likely will protect the Second Amendment. But at the same exact time, I worry about another pandemic, another natural disaster happening, and the government using whatever excuse they can to take away our ability to carry around a gun freely. And that's what America was built on. I mean, it is literally the Second Amendment. I mean, 1, free speech. 2, the right to carry arms. And it's not just for militias. It's to protect yourself from freaks out there. Because believe it or not, it doesn't matter if it's 1776, 1876, 1976, or 2076, there's always going to be some freak-a-leak out there looking for some trouble, so we always need to be with our head on a swivel and have something to protect ourselves. Now, I am a master in karate. Both of my hands are considered lethal, so if I was to attack somebody, I would actually get a felony charge because I'm considered a deadly weapon, personally, without any arms whatsoever. But I always have some ninja stars. I always have a knife. I usually have a little bit of like pepper spray, a little bit of bear mace. I watch Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's a family friend of mine. I'm actually in the bail bond business. This is a true story. So I stay strapped. So don't come after me, because if you want some trouble, you're going to get it. That's all I'm saying. When you mess with a pimp on a blimp, you're not going to be eating steak and shrimp, because you're going to be in the hospital with some serious, serious issues. But once this incident happens, I hope that it doesn't encourage copycat shooters. They need to realize that if you go out there and anywhere in America, the chances are, unless you're in like California or New York, there is going to be a good citizen with a gun. There is going to be an off-duty cop with a gun, and you're going to get all the smoke. So If you want to get high in your own supply, he should have just taken that gun and took his own life. And that's not even good either. I don't think suicide is ever the answer, not even for all the transgenders that have a very high suicide rate. I would encourage them not to commit suicide. But to be such a coward and to go out there at a family-friendly establishment like In-N-Out that has Bible verses literally on every single cup. It'll say John 3:16. They encourage you to follow Jesus Christ. So for him to go and commit a mass shooting at a restaurant that is one of the only Christian restaurants, fast food restaurants that I know that is in existence, Chick-fil-A, I guess, is a little Christian, but they don't put it on the cups. They just give you great service. So if anybody shoots a Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out, they're probably not conservative. They go shoot at McDonald's. That kind of makes sense. And I'm not saying do it at McDonald's, but McDonald's has really gone downhill in the last few years. When I was a kid, you'd go to McDonald's, you'd be in the play place, you'd be in the slide. You'd go pee in the ball pit. I used to poop in the ball pit as a kid. When I was a little kid, I would just poop in there. And I would get kicked out, and we would get banned. And then I would have to go through the drive-thru, and we'd have to kind of wear a disguise. And I learned a lot of life lessons from that. Getting banned from my favorite restaurant as a child for defecating in the ball pit multiple times, it taught me a lesson. It taught me, don't defecate outside of a commode. And that was one of my most important life lessons I learned my entire life. And that's why we need play places. That's why we need slides. We have all this AI and all these automated kiosks. We're not even interacting with humans anymore. And we need to go back to the old school ways where we would be fighting in the ball pit. We would be biting random people. We would be, yelling at the stinky kid. And I was the stinky kid. I'm still the stinky guy. I mean, I don't even hardly shower, but that's for different religious reasons. The Church of Scientology encourages me not to shower, and that's a topic for another day in Xenu, and I don't want to get into that right now, but I will say this. This is a horrible tragedy, and I'm sorry for the 3 people that lost their lives and the 7 other victims that were injured in this terrible, terrible tragedy. And we're not going to speak the name of the killer ever again on this show because he is such a loser and a scumbag. All right, guys, coming up next, we got more WNBA drama. These lesbians, they freaking love the attention that they're getting, and now they're encouraging transgenders to play in their league. Please, we need Joanna Man. Will one ex-NBA player transition and join the WNBA? I'm begging you. We're going to get into it right after the break. Welcome back to After Hours with Alex Stein right here on Real America's Voice, and we got to talk about all the WNBA drama surrounding Sophie Cunningham, who is a player for the Indiana Fever, and she is getting brutally roasted by all of the left-wing media regarding her comments saying that biological men should not be playing in women's sports. Now, obviously, this should not be a controversial statement. Why would you want a biological man who has a physical advantage playing against women? We know the case of Leah Thomas, who was ranked in the 400s as a male swimmer, and then once Leah Thomas transitioned to a female, became the top collegiate swimmer in all of women's swimming, breaking and smashing multiple women's records. Now, I understand the argument that they want to be inclusive and that a lot of their players are lesbians, and there's all kinds of love triangles in the WNBA. There's players that are dating other players and they break up and they date a new player, and then they have to guard their ex-lover, and then they're like hack-a-shacking their ex-lover and fouling them. Actually, that is one thing about the WNBA that people don't realize. The refs basically let the WNBA play like the 80s or the 70s. When they played basketball, they could, fight each other. They could elbow. It was very physical. Now the game has become very unphysical, and if you just touch a guy in the WNBA, or in the NBA, they blow a whistle. It's a foul. That's not the case in the WNBA. The WNBA, these women are basically kicking the crap out of each other every single game. And the refs, they don't call travels. They don't call double dribbles. They don't call anything. They don't call any fouls in this league. It's literally like prison rules. And that makes it exciting. So the coach of the team that the Indiana Fever were playing, her name is Cheryl Reeves, she wore a T-shirt in protest to Sophie Cunningham's statement that she doesn't think biological boys should be playing against women, which, once again, I say is not a very controversial statement, but I tend to agree with Cheryl Reeves because I would love and welcome any transgender athlete, any ex-NBA, ex-college male athlete that was halfway decent. I am begging you, please transition to a woman and join one of these teams. Because these women need a dose of reality. They can go and LARP as being inclusive and celebrating everybody's sexuality and saying that everybody should be gay and that women can be men and men become women. I mean, it's all nonsense, but they believe it. They're not going to be affected by it because they can talk the talk. But once we actually get one of these trans athletes that's good at basketball to go and take over the league, then that's walking the walk, and they have to have a dose of reality, and I think that reality check would change a lot of their fake opinions. Now, I want to play this clip that shows ESPN celebrating the fact that Cheryl Reeves is wearing a shirt that says trans kids belong. It's like there's no such thing as a trans kid. Telling a kid that they're born in the wrong body should be a crime. You are an evil, sick person if you try to confuse a person that has gender dysphoria, which is a mental illness, and convince them that they are the other gender. It is abuse, child abuse, and her just wearing that shirt makes me think that there's probably something really bad on all of her computer hard drives and cell phones. So let's play this clip of ESPN just celebrating this great shirt in protest of Sophie Cunningham.
Well, we see Cheryl Reeves wearing a shirt today in support of trans kids. Trans kids belong on the shirt. This in the aftermath of Sophie Cunningham's recent comments. We actually saw Cheryl and Sophie speaking at center court pregame. And yesterday, Cheryl Reeves spent a lot of time talking at length with the media about this topic.
I would encourage anyone to go and listen to Cheryl Reeves' comments. Incredibly thoughtful, easy to find online, and
incredibly thoughtful, as ESPN just said. Her thought, oh, how is that thoughtful? That is, saying a kid is transgender is retarded, okay? We live in a free country. If you're 18, you want to cut your breasts off, you want to cut your penis off, I wouldn't encourage you to do it. But you know what? You're allowed to do that. But if you're under 18, you can't drink a beer, you can't get a tattoo, you can't vote. There's a lot of things that are age restricted in this country. We need to restrict children that don't have their frontal, brain, the front of their brain, the cerebral cortex, their brain is not even fully developed. I don't even think it gets fully developed till you're 25. And let them make life-altering decisions, because they will tell you that, oh, well, cross-sex hormones are actually, HRT and these cross-sex drugs, they're reversible. So if you change your mind, then you can go back to being your biological gender, which is not true. I've talked to a lot of detransitioners, Chloe Cole being one of them, another one, a guy by the name of Abel Garcia, who was convinced by a psychiatrist that his gender dysphoria was real and that he was a female. Well, he got breast implants at a young age. He started taking these cross-sex hormones, and now his penis is atrophied. He doesn't have any function down there, and he says it looks very small. And to me, that seems like that is probably one of my biggest nightmares. I mean, I could not imagine being so mentally ill that you would want to cut off your genitals, whether it's your breasts or it's your penis. Like, imagine that. Like, what kind of mental illness would you prescribe cutting off a body part? Like, oh, I don't like my pinky anymore. No doctor would tell you to just cut off your pinky. There was some doctor that lost his medical license because he purposely injured his legs so he could get them amputated. Now, there are freaks that want to do these weird things to themselves. But I'm telling you, I am not a doctor, but cutting off your genitals will not make your life better. It will ruin any sexual satisfaction that you may, try to get later on in life, and it'll ostracize you in every single social circle that you operate in. But Cheryl Reeves had a post-game press conference, and she was asked about her interaction with Sophie, and of course she said, the status quo, politically correct answer, it's great to talk to people with different views. But let's just be real. You are trying to indoctrinate young kids into this weird gay trans ideology cult because gay people cannot procreate. They have to recruit. And it's an obvious fact that being a lesbian is probably a phase. I think they're fake. Like, two scissors can't cut. They can't even really have sex. So let's just get into what she had to say about her interaction with Sophie Cunningham.
Before the game, you had a conversation with Sophie Cunningham.
I did.
If you want to share what you talked about, feel free. But
absolutely not.
More of my question is just how important is it to have those like in-person conversations with people that
I think it's
have
great.
different views?
I think it's great. I think both of us understand that we have platforms, and we both talked about wanting to more than anything educate, and there are some things that we have in common and maybe some things you differ on, just like any issues. And I think it's how you handle things. And so, it was nice to be in person for sure.
And once again, Sophie Cunningham's comments saying that she doesn't want biological men playing in women's sports should not even be considered controversial. Sophie Cunningham has really not made any other political statements other than this one. And now she's being lambasted by these lesbians that rule the WNBA and told that she is now right-wing MAGA and all of a sudden that she is a Nazi and she is basically a criminal, all for saying something that most people would agree on. But I do disagree with Sophie 100%. I want transgenders in women's sports so I can gamble on them and so I can win some money. And I would love for Leah Thomas to jump back in a pool and face these women because I won so much money on Leah Thomas's, propeller in that pool. I basically turned draft kings into draft queens. So I love this. And now we have a clip from the Golden State Valkyries head coach. Her name is Natalie Nikasi, saying that she welcomes transgenders in women's sports. I do too. Let's play the clip.
Regular season, but coming out of the break, one of the big news stories has been Sophie Cunningham and the protest for her and protest against her. And, they had a national televised game today and Cheryl, wore a shirt, and it's just a conversation. I'm wondering just what do you think about it? Do you think that's good for the league? Does it detract from the basketball? Is it just noise? I'm just wondering what your opinion is.
I think, thank you for that question. I think just in terms of how I'm seeing it is, if I could answer with for me, sports is about belonging. It's about inclusivity. It's about allowing everyone to be their authentic self. I'm big on that just because I have been criticized for my height, for my ethnicity. I've been in those "you shouldn't belong here" many times. And for me, I don't want that space, especially Golden State, to ever feel like that. So I'm all about women, little girls deserving to play, and that includes trans women. So I'm all about inclusivity.
I mean, the mental gymnastics that Natalie Nikasi is using there is absolutely insane. And let's just be real, because you were called tall, that doesn't mean you're a boy. So she's trying to play a victim. And I watched a lot of police interrogation videos, and as soon as she heard that question from the reporter, she started doing the self-soothing thing. She started fixing her hair because she knows that when she's asked about a player and what should she sub in and some question about the game, that's not going to go viral. But as soon as that reporter brought up the hot button issue of transgenders in women's sports, she had to fix her hair because she knew that this clip was going to go viral, and she knew that she had to virtue signal and defend transgenders in women's sports. But I unironically agree with you, Coach Natalie. We do need transgenders in the WNBA so that we can gamble on them and viewership would go through the roof. I would love it. Seems like Natalie would love it. I'm sure Caitlin Clark would love it. Sophie Cunningham, not so much. But Sophie Cunningham we don't like Sophie Cunningham. So we should do it to punish Sophie Cunningham. So we need to encourage any transgenders out there that can dunk a basketball, any ex-collegiate athletes that were play basketball. Maybe you're gay. Just say you're a girl. Wear a bra, put on a horrible wig, put on a dress, and go try out. And she talks about sports being inclusive. That's the exact opposite. Sports are a meritocracy. If you're not good, they cut you from the team. If you're not, if you're a cancer in the locker room, they trade you away. So it's not about inclusivity. It's about following the rules. And it's a meritocracy. So if you're good enough to play against the women and you're a boy, please sign up. We need one transgender in the WNBA, and I'll be satisfied, and I'll win a bunch of money gambling on them. All right, guys, in this next segment after the break, we're going to get to you. The voicemails that you left, some insane, some awesome. You're not going to want to miss what Redneck Mark had to say. That's coming up next.
Welcome back to After Hours on Real America's Voice.
Thank you so much for watching After Hours with Alex Stein right here on Real America's Voice. Now, this segment is all about you, the viewer. I just want to tell you guys, we've been getting a lot of voicemails. We are over inundated with your calls and texts, and I really appreciate it. But I have to say, and I'm not even trying to pat myself on the back, and I know a lot of people at RAV are actually kind of blown away. All the calls have been positive. So I want to encourage you guys to, if you want to call and say something positive, that is 100% allowed. I'm not going to stop that. Heck, I do encourage that as well. But we need some people to come on and give us some criticism. We need some critiques. We had one caller, say something about AOCs, Big Booty Latina, and we're going to play that call. But I'm just saying, everybody's been so nice, and we do accept text messages as well as phone calls, but the phone calls are more interesting. The phone calls are more personal. We get to hear your voice. I get to kind of, get a little flavor of your opinion. The text messages, to me, I appreciate them. The majority have been positive. But we would really encourage you to please dial that number, 214-216-6169. Don't be shy. These calls go right to my cell phone, and I'll be honest, I might answer it. There is a chance I might answer it, okay? So, don't be scared if I do. I'm going to be nice, but we want to encourage you guys to come and spit some hot fire. Tell me what you're really feeling. You don't have to call and be nice, even though I do appreciate the callers that have been nice. Everybody's been way too nice. I'm starting to worry, like, is this some sort of gimmick? Is this a joke? Am I getting trolled? Because everybody has been very gracious and very complimentary. And I want to encourage the people that may be listening to this audio only. The number is 214-216-6169. And I want to encourage everybody to please participate on the show. Give us your name. Tell us where you're calling from. And give us your complaint, concern, or compliment, and we will play it right here on After Hours with Alex Stein. Now I want to get to our first caller. This is a nice guy leaving a nice message, talking about how much he loves to watch the show after he gets off work. Let's play the first voicemail.
Hey, Alex, watching your show right now, just getting off work. You're the best. I love the way you speak honesty to the insanity in our world. Be well, brother.
I will. You need to be well, too. I really appreciate that. I don't know if he left his name, but thank you so much for calling. And we got another nice caller. Let's play the next one. This voicemail from another lady telling us how much she loves the show. I really appreciate that, too. Let's play it.
Mr. Alex Stein, I love your show. You always make me end my day with a really smile in my face. Thank you. Have a blessed night. From Florida. Bye-bye.
Gosh, I love that. I think that sounds like a Big Booty Latina to me. Or maybe she might have been Chinese or Asian. I don't know. I don't care. We want to encourage everybody, every ethnicity, white, black, Chinese. If you're Indian, maybe don't call in, actually. If you're Indian, we don't want to deal with a call center scam. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Indians are allowed to call in. If you're brown, you're welcome to primetime town, okay? I don't want to be like the WNBA, or excuse me, I want to be like the WNBA. This call and compliment and complaint line is all inclusive. Transgenders are welcome to call in, lesbians are welcome to call in, and our next caller has a new remedy to help lesbians. This is Redneck Mark with my favorite call so far. Let's play Redneck Mark.
This is Redneck Mark in Eagle, Idaho, and I want to give you an offer to get in on the ground floor of a new prescription drug. I'm doing trial on it right now. It's not approved, but a friend of mine has told me on a couple of occasions he had women that he wanted to date that weren't sure if they were going to be lesbian or straight. So I gave him my new trial pill, and I've applied for the patent for the name. It's called Tricoxagen. What it is, it's a capsule in a bottle, and it's called Tricoxagen.
Redneck Mark, that is a drug that I want to invest in 100%. I would like Moderna or Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson to get on board. I think that we could help out a lot of lesbians by giving them some Tricoxagen. And I would argue that Tricoxagen could save America. You can get these women feeling feminine again. It'll get them off this idea that they need to be a boss babe, and maybe they want to get back in the game and make, some sweet, sweet love to a man, and that's what we need. We got a loneliness epidemic in this country, and a lot of these lesbians are causing it because this is a fact. Lesbians have the highest rate of divorce. You can fact check me, ChatGPT, Grok, Ask AI. Lesbians have the highest rate of divorce, which proves that women are headaches. And so leave them to the men. We need man and a woman together, making babies, making sweet love, and procreating, and continuing on so the population doesn't decline, so the generations after me, when I'm long gone, can continue to watch After Hours with Alex Stein. We need more viewers, so we need more lesbians taking Tricoxagen. And Redneck Mark, please email me or call me back. Or I got your number. I guess I'll call you back. I want to invest in Tricoxagen 100%. I think that is a drug that will be a breakthrough drug. A lot better than a lot of these other people. They're trying to make cancer medicine. They're trying to make diabetes medicine. We need to focus on Tricoxagen. That's a medicine that will help out America and the rest of the world. Now we got to play this next call. This is from Florida, and a lovely lady named Nicole gave us another beautiful call. Let's play it.
Dude, you are so funny. I swear, I watch you every night at 11 o'clock. I am so happy to have you here. My name is Nicole. I'm from Florida, and I was just sitting here just thinking how you guys are calling. People get to call in, and you guys are listening to people now, which I put it out there. Start listening to the people. But I thought of this cool idea. If President Trump starts calling people and starts talking with them, like random phone numbers, whatever. But I just thought that would be so cool, is if he gets down to the level and starts talking to us. Since obviously it's too dangerous for him to go out at restaurants and see people and talk and shake hands like Hamburger Obama did. But I really think that, Cheeseburger Obama. No cheeseburger, that's all he wanted. But anyways, my point is, don't get me off subject because I could talk about anything like you. But I think it would be an awesome idea if President Trump FaceTimes people randomly or calls them on the phone. I really think this may help with the midterms. Tell me what you think. All right, have a good night. Peace out, brother.
Peace out, Nicole. Thank you so much. And I agree. If Donald Trump actually just called random people. Now, back in the day, I used to like to listen to Howard Stern, and Howard Stern is a total idiot now. He's a total libtard. But he used to do this every New Year's. He would randomly call numbers or randomly call fans' numbers. I don't know. I guess he had their subscription, had their numbers. And the fans would just go nuts, and he would have conversations with random fans. And it actually it felt so interactive. It felt cool, and they would play the clips sometimes. Sometimes they wouldn't play the calls. But my point is, I agree 100%, Nicole. It would be awesome if Donald Trump would get on FaceTime and talk to some random people. And let's not forget, Cheeseburger Obama, he liked hot dogs and cheese pizza too, okay? And so did Hillary Clinton and, John Podesta. So do not forget about the cheese pizza and hot dogs that they love so much. I think he spent $200,000 having a hot dog party at the White House. Lord knows what kind of hot dogs those were. All right, now this is our last voicemail we're going to play. This is a theory on how cyclosporionitis from Taco Bell started.
Hey, Alex, I know this is random and probably off topic of your next show, but I think the parasite about the Taco Bell thing, blah, 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 the narrative that they were pushing, I think it's a little something different, but the media refuses to address it. But like, for example, I saw a van pull up. I didn't think anything of it until later on that night, but there was just a random van like pulled like near my house, and they had like a tube running from the back end of the van into a storm drain. And then there was another guy like parked in a different vehicle behind them on a cell phone. And so I saw that, and then, you know, I did my daily routine, and then I came home and realized it kind of smelled like sewage after I got home. And I've been noticing around my neighborhood that like the storm drain systems are like flooded with nasty, gunky, putrid smells like that. And then it just kept adding up. So then I figured this out in my brain, that all these illegals, undocumented people, a lot of them are homeless, so they're living in these vans and stuff, and where are they going to put their sewage? And there's a few people who already got arrested for illegal dumping. So I believe that's where this parasite is originating from, and the media is not informing anyone that, because, you know, so I think that's what is going on, because it leaks into our water supplies, and then we take baths, showers, some people drink the tap water. So I believe that's where this parasite is really coming from. And I don't know, I know you know a lot of people, and so I just want to inform you, maybe you can spread the word to officials so we can like address this problem before it gets even worse. Thank you. God bless. Have a good night.
Thank you so much for that call. And I will only say this, is that I've been accused of illegally dumping a lot in my life. I pooped in the ball pit at McDonald's and got me banned. So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And as an illegal dumper myself, this is a real problem. I know that some people are going to listen to that call and think that she's, you know, a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but you're not. Our bodies are infected with all kinds of parasites. The cyclosporosis parasite is one of many parasites that are in our food system and in our water. So it might sound a little nutty, but I think you might have a point. You might be onto something. So next time, get some footage on your cell phone if you can, but don't get hurt. We don't want you to get attacked like some of these independent journalists do when they go out to these protests. But if we can get these people in 4K illegally dumping, and we can expose them. But I hope we're not actually seeing, I don't want to like a video of somebody actually going number 2, because this is a family show. We couldn't show that. We'd have to blur that. But any evidence of illegal dumping, please film it and send it to us. The number is 214-216-6169. So those were our voicemails. We had a ton of them. We're going to get to some more tomorrow. But I want to show one nice text that we also got. Look at this nice text. Oh, well, we didn't even bring the text, but that's why. This is why. We want you to call in. You're more than welcome to give us your complaints and concerns over text, but I would encourage you to pick up that phone. Don't be shy. I'm the pimp on a blimp. I'm going to be as nice as shrimp fried rice. So please call in 214-216-6169 with any compliments, complaints, or concerns. We appreciate you guys supporting the show and giving us your hot takes. All right, coming up next, we got drama. Congressman from Detroit, Michigan that I confronted is losing in his primary, and it's absolutely embarrassing. That's coming up right after these commercials. His voice, and you always ask, what is your secret, Alex? How do you have so much energy? Well, this is my secret. It isn't an energy drink. It is called Soldier Fuel. It is absolutely delicious. I encourage all of you to go out and buy some today, because it's got 0 sugar, 5 total calories, and guess what? 15% of the proceeds go to help out all of our military veterans. And one good thing about this is that a lot of people are like, oh, you know, yada, yada, yada. You're just trying to sell this product. It's actually good. I'm not just saying that. It is delicious. You could drink 10 of these. I don't recommend that because you probably wouldn't get much sleep. You wouldn't get like no sleep at all. But I'm telling you, this is my secret weapon, Soldier Fuel. Go to buysoldierfuel.com today. Or if you have Amazon, you can order some Soldier Fuel and get it to your house in less than 48 hours. Support a company that actually supports our military vets. Now let's get to a candidate that really doesn't support animals. This is Shri Thanedar. He is a congressman from Michigan, and this is the most pathetic political video I've ever seen. He is absolutely getting frame-mogged in the polling. His chances of winning are like less than 12% on all of the prediction markets because he's posting videos like this, and I believe the guy's almost 70 years old, but I'll give him this. He does look young. Let's play the clip.
Hey, this is Congressman Shri Thanedar here in beautiful downtown Detroit. I'm meeting people, asking them to make sure they vote on August 4th in the primary election. I'm asking for your vote so I can continue fighting the Trump administration, continue fighting their corruption and their lawlessness.
It's really ironic that Shri Thanedar wants to talk about fighting against corruption when he is accused of being an animal abuser, leaving tons of dogs in one of his animal testing clinics. And the pimp on a blimp has confronted Shri Thanedar. Let's play that viral moment. When are you going to stop killing all those beagles? I know, but why do you kill all those dogs like that? That animal testing, don't you think that's terrible? In your home country, do they eat dogs? Is that why? Is that why you like to do those testing on those animals, those innocent animals? Remember you left all those innocent animals? You don't remember that? He had a bunch of beagles they were doing animal testing on. Real loser. So that is my message to all the voters of Michigan. Do not vote for Shri Thanedar. He did not deserve to be on Capitol Hill. The guy sucks, and we've already confronted him. I think that clip is one of the main reasons that he's polling so bad. That clip got millions of views on social media, so you can thank me for that animal abuser, alleged animal abuser, not being on Capitol Hill any longer. Now, we got to talk about one of the most hypocritical clips I've ever seen in my life. This is Mayor Mamdani doing a press conference for his socialist grocery stores that are going to be 30% cheaper. But guess what? They're only going to be available for New York City residents. And guess how they're going to check if you're a New York City resident? You're going to have to show an ID. But according to this same person, Zohran Mamdani, showing an ID to vote is racist. Just watch the clip.
Hi, how's it going, Mr. Mayor?
How's it going?
Question about the essential basket of goods. You said they're going to be 30% cheaper than they would be at the grocery store down the street, or even if there's one not down the street, if it's a food desert. How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, Jeannie Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage who's buying, and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers.
Library-esque identification card required to get groceries to stop people from reselling them. But if you want to put in legislation that requires somebody to show an ID to vote, you're a racist. This shows you that they are just hypocritical liars, because if this was the case, if they were being intellectually honest, they would say, well, this food kitchen or this grocery store is available to everybody. We don't show IDs to vote. We don't show IDs at our grocery store. But when you're hypocritical and you say you need an ID to get cheap groceries, but you don't need an ID to vote, it just shows that you're a liar and you're a fraud. Because you can't have it both ways. You either need an ID to vote and you need an ID to go to the free grocery store, or you don't need an ID to vote and you don't need an ID to go to the grocery store. You can't be wishy-washy, and that's why Zohran Mamdani is a fraud and a coward and a liar, because he couldn't even say it himself. He had to get one of his representatives to give us the bad news and play the bad cop, because I will give him some credit. He is pretty good at being a politician and not putting the blame on himself and saying, the hard parts out loud so we can understand that they're all hypocritical losers and liars. Okay, now, this next clip is going super viral. This is from January 6er Jake Lang, who was brutally assaulted outside of a mosque that was doing some sort of Muslim celebration. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on Jake Lang. Some people love him, some people hate him. I'm a free speech absolutist, so I like a little bit of what he does. I like that he stirs the pot, but I am worried about his safety, especially after this video. Let's play it.
This is David, Dearborn, Michigan. I speak the name of Jesus. Get up, yeah! What now? What now, boy? What now, yeah, boy? What now, boy? You got a whole thousand. You got a whole thousand. What, boy? Beat that. Beat that. Beat that. Beat it there. 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 You came in the wrong time, mother.
Now, these are people that want to do a global jihad in our country. Now, whether you agree with Islam or not, these people tend to be violent when you provoke them. Jake Lang is provoking, in my opinion, people that have no moral compass and could care less about hurting you. They don't care about the consequences because they're doing this in a Muslim majority area. So they're probably not going to get in trouble. I don't believe anybody was arrested. The clip is even a little longer. He had rocks thrown at him. Luckily, he was able to get in the back of a police cruiser and was taken to a hospital. So, Jake, if you're out there and you hear this, please be safe. You're messing with people that think if they die for their holy war, they get 72 virgins in heaven, okay? So that logic is insane, but that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with some crazy people that really don't care about the consequences of their actions because they're more than likely not going to face any consequences for their actions. So be very careful, Jake. Be safe. We all really want the best for you. But continue using your voice. You got a big platform. You've been going viral. You've really been stirring things up. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite like Mom Donnie. And I'm going to only encourage you to continue to stir things up. But please keep yourself safe. All right, guys. Now we got to talk about this last video. This is so dumb. There's all kinds of scams. This guy tries to scam a pawn shop with a fake iPad. Let's just play the clip. As soon as the guy starts opening up, look, he goes right out the door. Yeah, you can get scammed too with the fake iPad. And that was in a new box. It's ripping off the new thing. So these people are very, very sophisticated when it comes to these scams. So be on the lookout. Always be careful when you're doing business with anybody out there. And yeah, it's a crazy world we live in. I just would hate to get screwed over or get conned by some random Ethiopian or Indian or, you know, random black guy or white guy or Chinese guy or you know what I mean, any guy. There's a lot of people out there. You always got to be on the lookout for scams because it's happening every day. People are struggling. We're having an affordability crisis, so crime is only going to go up. Now, we end this show on a happy note. Thank you to all the callers that participated. That was by far my favorite part of the weekend, listening to all your voicemails. So continue to call. The number is 214-216-6169. We want to include all of you guys on the show. That is literally my favorite part of the weekend, listening to all your voicemails. And guys, call in with some complaints. Even if you're not mad at me, I just want to get mad for the freaking clip so we can put it on the show because that might go viral. And I also want to encourage everybody. We have a great event coming up with Eric Bowling, Main Street America. He's going to be live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and you can hang out with Eric and the rest of the RAV crew in Vegas, August 7th. You're all invited. Hit the QR code, and we hope to see you there.